Yeah, you won't make it. Get out. Define the Pauli exclusion principle.
No two electrons on the same atom can have the same 4 quantum numbers.
Name an organ system where torque plays an important role in daily function. Get out.
Wait!
Get out! What's the most pressing problem in healthcare today?
My dad donated a building.
Oh. You're Joe.
I'm Joe.
Yeah, you've already been accepted. You can just go home if you want.
Appreciate it.
When was the London cholera outbreak involving Jon Snow?
It began in 1854.
Process of cell division leading to diploid cells.
It's called mitosis.
In the field of observation, chance favors only the prepared mind.
Louis Pasteur.
What is the mass of the sun?
1.929 times 10 to the 30th kilogram.
What is the powerhouse of the cell?
It's the God-given mitochondria.
Fantastic. You may proceed to the interview room. Yes, I see the steely desire, the fire burning in your eyes. Indeed, I am intrigued by the increase in quality of applicants that apply to our school every year. We're now moving on to the second phase of the interview process. This is a dual interview. It is closed file, so I have no prior access to your submitted applications. So tell me about yourselves. Joseph, begin.
I'm a senior at UC Berkeley. I study biology and music. I love to sing so much, I actually joined an a cappella group while I was in college. I love family, music, and medicine. Honestly, I'm just a nice guy. Happy to be here, sir.
I am a junior at Harvard. I graduated early, top of my class. I started college when I was 15 and decided to further my education academically after starting several clinics in Africa and the Dominican Republic. I found myself drawn to the hard sciences, but also the mathematical nature of music, so I quintuple majored in biology, music, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. You should be glad that I decided to grace you with my presence.
What's the most important characteristic for a doctor to have?
I believe it's between empathy and diligence. If you work hard, you can do anything.
Working hard is good, but at the end of the day, there are some things you just have to be born with. You have to be born better than most people at science. Of course, empathy is good too.
Why medicine?
Well, I used to get woken up in the middle of the night by my grandmother, who was talking to herself in her sleep. I'd go downstairs, and she'd stare at me blankly in my face. She'd call me Sus, the name of her deceased cousin, and I'd sit there and talk with her for a while. Luckily, Sus was somebody she trusted. My mom says I look like him. For me, medicine is how I help my grandmother, who has Alzheimer's, and those with the same disease. It's just a part of who I am. It was always what I was meant to do.
My parents were missionaries who devoted their entire lives to helping those less fortunate abroad. In fact, they gave out so many of their services for free that we eventually had no money at all. In my time in Africa and the Dominican Republic, I have not only seen the poverty of nations, but I have lived it too. When my father fell ill with malaria and my mother no longer had the means to support him, I began to understand what it truly means to suffer. That was, of course, until the doctor who helped him came along into our lives. With him, I gained a more nuanced perspective of what it means to be a healthcare provider. Not only the treatments that they offer, but the hope that they provide for the patients and their families. I came here to be that hope.
This has been my dream since the moment I was born. My doctor accidentally dropped a stethoscope into my little baby fingers.
This has been my dream since before I came out of the womb. My fetal heartbeat spelled out doctor in Morse code.
How wonderful. Really. Just fantastic. You will now have 15 seconds to reply to the prompt. If you wait longer than 15 seconds to respond, you will be denied admission to the medical School of Medicine for this admission cycle. We'll begin with Joseph. Unrelative simply go when he is finished. Ready?
Sounds good. Okay.
Fantastic. Why here? Of all the medical schools in the world, why the medical School of Medicine?
Well, honestly, sir, anybody would kill to go here. And I forged a unique connection here when I had surgery as a child. It's always been my dream.
I wish to be surrounded by minds as unparalleled as my own, and MSSM has those minds.
Explain to the other candidate why you should be allowed to go to school here.
I have great stats. 525, 4.1 GPA.
526, 4.2.
I have 700 clinical hours.
I have 701.
I have 7 publications.
I have 8.
Are you even a real person?
I am beyond most real people.
Are you hearing this guy? This man is Kanye.
I am beyond Kanye.
I have 1,000 hours of community service.
I have 1,000 and 59 minutes, simply to be above the mediocre.
Oh, so you're not a high achiever.
Excellent. Tell me about your research experience.
I worked on a novel way to prevent Alzheimer's disease using the metal ion hypothesis.
After finishing my thesis on Alzheimer's and the metal ion hypothesis, I developed a way to safely and effectively clone oneself.
That's not real.
I've heard of this. Tell me more.
Well, when I was in college, I had no funding, no source of income. I decided that tutoring just wasn't going to cut it, so what I needed was 6 full-time jobs. I figured out how to clone myself, sent each of my copies off to a different job. We all shared the income collectively, and yes, our consciousness is shared.
It's not possible. You can't possibly do that.
But I did.
That's fantastic. Yeah, see, I've heard of this before, but to hear your process is really enlightening. I should also take the time to mention at this point in time that only one of you will be allowed to receive an acceptance to MSSM this year.
This is ridiculous. I've spent my whole life working to get here, and I get put in the same room with this freak of nature to prevent me from getting in.
Hey, you are impressive too. I'm sure you'll get in somewhere else. Besides, lesser candidates can always reapply next year.
I'm gonna...
We're moving out of the medical school environment and into the wild, wild west.
It's a showdown. 10 paces and you fire. Whoever stands at the end of 10 counts gets it. 1,
You're mediocre. If I'm mediocre, then you're only slightly above average.
2,
I exceed you in every way.
Is it painful for you to admit that you don't know everything?
3,
I don't know everything. I just know more than you about everything.
4.
Don't be discouraged. I also know more than everyone else about everything, too.
Then you must know I'm gonna kill you.
5. This is fantastic.
You couldn't if you wanted to. Only one of me is here.
You're annoying.
6.
Your mediocrity brings out the worst in me.
You're a cocky son of a female puppy. You bring out the worst in me, too.
7.
You know, I feel like under different circumstances, we could actually be friends.
8.
You know? You're probably right.
9.
But the same could be said about anybody. Fool.
Too bad these are our circumstances.
10. Fantastic. You've both been accepted into the medical school of medicine for this application cycle.
I'm still better than you. Don't make me go get that revolver. I'll find all 6 of you.
Sure.
Fool.